Hi and welcome to the Smart Traffic Light 2.0 tutorial about how to create a pedestrian traffic light, which is very easy. Here in the showcase map I will present you by simulate the scene how the whole stuff will function. So it's very easy. We have a default traffic light cycle. I showed you this in some tutorials before, how to work with the intersection manager. You see here the default cycle of it. So the pedestrian traffic lights turn green while other traffic lights turn red and some opposite traffic lights turn green. So when I click now on this wonderful button here, you can read it here, please press and please wait will light up. Now it's red, I click on this one here, we go to details panel and I say init button pressed. So, and we can see it right here, everything is green now, wonderful, we can go. And you hear this wonderful sound, yeah? Now we can create our own wonderful traffic intersection with pedestrian traffic lights. So, how does this work? We have a normal cycle which the intersection manager projects to the whole intersection so that some traffic lights are green and some are red, and by pressing the pedestrian button the whole cycle get paused and some traffic lights get now red while the pedestrian traffic lights which are registered to the pedestrian button get green now. But it's better to show you directly how this will work. Go to your smart traffic lights folder and then go to blueprints. We need BP traffic light here, we need pedestrian button, and we need one copy of the wonderful BP traffic light or intersection manager. Drag and drop it to your level and it should look like this. This is wonderful. Okay, before we start I will set the location of my traffic light like this. Set we have here a line and now we have this pedestrian button and we move it to the wonderful traffic light here like this. Now I duplicate my normal traffic light because you know we have a normal traffic light for buses, trams or maybe cars, and we need a pedestrian traffic light. So just duplicate this one here, wonderful, and I move it to the right for example. And now we set for example the pedestrian traffic light up. I will set it to a 2-lane traffic light, not a 3-lane traffic light, even when in my city for example we have pedestrian lights which have 3 lenses. We click on the pedestrian traffic light, we go to the details panel, I pin it up and under type 0 basics type we click on 2 lenses. The whole thing will work in theory also with 1 lens, but I recommend 3 or 2. So I click 2 and we scroll down, and here under the point for smart intersection system we say yes, please use the intersection system. Here is my wonderful intersection manager and we select this one here. Now we want to use is pedestrian traffic light. Yeah, it's of course pedestrian traffic light, so make a tick here and make sure you have a tick here on use smart intersection system. So to continue we need to change the symbols here and the lens count. You see here we have 2 lenses, but we have here under config, the category config 2, we have here 3 entries. So we delete index 2, index 1 because this one here is yellow, and index 1 on lens lit color because this one is yellow. Please make sure that we have only the count of lenses as entries here. So we have 2 lenses, 2 entries, 2 entries and 2 entries. Okay, now we can continue. This is wonderful, but we have to set up a mask. We have here, when you click on index 0, override lens symbols, multiple pedestrian light masks. So pedestrian go and pedestrian go 2. I will choose now the more classic version, pedestrian go 2. Index 1 is always the bottom lens, while index 0 is the bottom lens, while index 1 is the topper lens. Or on a 3 lens traffic light, index 0 is at the bottom, index 1 is in the middle, index 2 is at the top, and if we have a 4 lens traffic light, you get the concept. Index 3 would be at the top, at the maximum top. So now set index 1 to pedestrian stop 2, because index 1 is the lower one, go. So here is a go mask, and at the top we have to choose the stop mask. So, okay, this is done. When I simulate now the scene, we can see that the traffic light is working. Okay, this one is not working because we don't have set up the intersection manager, and we have to click to the pedestrian light here, to the main pedestrian light, and also say now, yeah, interaction manager on the smart intersection system, use smart intersection management system, yes, and interaction manager, just choose your traffic light or intersection manager here. So now nothing will work, which is correct, because we don't set up the intersection manager. I think we can choose a normal intersection here. Let me check what this one is called. Not cold, called. So we have here the group one with pedestrian traffic light. Oh, this is interesting. Yeah, I set up already a wonderful intersection with pedestrian traffic lights here. So when I go to entry 0, we have here a 0, of course, and then we have the light states. 0 is here the red one, and 1 is the green one. So when I open booth up, we see here red phase and green phase, of course, and then I go to traffic light group ID. Yeah, we have here multiple entries. So why do we have 4 indexes? 0, 1, 2, 3. This is very easy to explain. I draw here a simple intersection. So the blue circlets are the traffic lights, and the yellow or orange arrows are the wonderful pedestrian lights in the direction of the crossing part of the street. Yeah. So this one here means they cross here. This one means they cross here, for example. So we have these wonderful traffic lights here. This one is 0, this one is 0, this is 1 and 1, because we have 1 in this direction, and so on. So this direction here is 1, while this direction here is 0 from the default traffic lights, which is very easy to understand, right? So we go with yellow now, and we have these wonderful pedestrian lights here, which are, of course, 2. Yeah, this one is here 2, and this one is also then 2, because if these are green, this one can also be green, while these ones here are, of course, 3. And it's the same concept. When they are green, this one here can also be green, and the other ones should be red. So this is why we have 0, 1, 2, and 3. 4 indexes. 0, 1, 2, 3. So this phase here, or this cycle, says we start with index 1, which should be green, while every other phase should be red. And that's the whole point. You can check it out by just clicking through the different phases here, and I think it's very easy to understand. If you don't understand this concept, just let me know, I can explain it to you also maybe in Discord. So we choose for TL WPED for pedestrian. I click on my pedestrian manager and we say intersection ID, of course, for TLWPED. The intersection is not disabled, but we have multiple phases. So let me count the phases here. We have multiple phases, of course, and we have here 4 phases. Okay, this is completely fine. This means we have to add another phase, 0, 1, 2, 3. And this phase should be, or should have a length of 5 seconds, or nearly 5 seconds. So when I test this right now, we can simulate and you see everything is alright. But this is not wrong, because we need to set up our wonderful intersection. But before we do this, we take care of our pedestrian button. We have here multiple options. For example, we have here the default button. This is just a debug button to test this in editor, so manually, or if you don't have a player character. If you want to implement your own character which can press this button, I recommend you to just create a simple blueprint interface and call this event here. I will show it you later, but it's very easy to do this with a simple line trace. So you have your own character, you press E on your keyboard and you fire now a line trace to a certain direction, and you hit, for example, with your camera, and you line trace this wonderful button here. And then you say, okay, I hit it with a line trace, so please initiate the button pressed event, and bam, everything is working fine. Very easy, right? So now we have the options above on config 0. The category 0, config. We have reference pedestrian traffic lights, which is very easy to understand. This just means we have this one here, which should be connected to this button. But now remember, we have on the other side of the road here also a traffic light, a pedestrian traffic light. Though these two pedestrian traffic lights should be connected to this button. I can set it up directly by adding two entries. And I say now the first one is this pedestrian traffic light, and the second reference is this one here. So if I press on this button, boost traffic lights will turn green. Now we have the pedestrian state duration, which just means how long should I stay green. So by default, I think pedestrians have, yeah, let's say 30 seconds, 30 to 60 seconds to cross a road. Depends on the frequency where people, I don't know, crossing or want to cross a road there. But yeah, let's say 30 seconds. I set it now to 10 seconds because I don't want to spend so much time for waiting on the green-red cycle. Now we have reference selected traffic light. This means, and you can read it here when you go and hover with your mouse on this text, select all default traffic lights, which should be switched when hitting this button. Yeah, this means by default, I mean just these default traffic lines for cars, buses, and so on. So I click on this one here and I select this traffic light. Now we have pedestrian button switch time. This is also very easy to understand. How long before the traffic lights should react. This means I press the button and mostly the traffic lights don't turn directly to red, though this ones here don't turn directly to red. Mostly you have up to 60 seconds until they react to don't directly stop the traffic. And you can set it up here also on 10 seconds, which are fine for me. Time before green again. How long should you wait before it can switch to green again? Yeah, this is also an interesting feature, though to stop spamming, you can also say your traffic light, for example, the pedestrian traffic light, should not be or should not turn to green in the next X seconds. So, for example, you can't press this button in the next, let's say, 5 minutes. To prevent that the whole stuff is too frequently switching to green. So please notice that this option don't interrupt the default cycle of the intersection manager. So if you say every, let's say, 60 seconds the pedestrian traffic light turns green by default, this will not stop this when you turn it here to 20 seconds or 60 seconds. So if the default cycle turns the pedestrian traffic light to green, it stays green and it continue the whole cycle. The option time before green again is just an anti-spam option if you have, for example, multiple NPCs or something like this who can click on this button, just to prevent that this one is triggering every time green again and over again. To set up now our wonderful intersection, we will just copy these wonderful traffic lights here and this one also, and I will rotate them, for example, like this and like this. So now we duplicate this and set up our scene. Now we have to set up the IDs. You see here every wonderful traffic light is set to 0, which is incorrect. On this direction here, this one and this one should be 1. So traffic light ID or traffic light ID group 1. While we have different IDs for these wonderful pedestrian traffic lights. This one and also this one and this one should have the ID 2. While this one, and this one should have the ID 3. When we simulate the whole process now, you can see that everything is working fine. Oh guys, I made a mistake. We have set these traffic lights here to 2, sorry, they were on 2. But I set them now up to 3, this is working. Though these one here, which we set to 2, have to be 3. and these these traffic lights here have to be 2. So now it's working. Just wait a little bit and you see everything is working fine. This happens sometimes that you just make a mistake with IDs when you don't set up your own custom intersection phase logic. So the cycle, your custom cycle. I explained how easy it is in the last tutorial, so just check it out. But you see here, everything is working fine now. Now we have to set up every wonderful button. You noticed these buttons here are set up correctly, while these ones here are not set up correctly. So we select these ones and we go at the top here to reference pedestrian lights, and we select this one and this one, just replace them. And reference selected traffic light are these ones here. And also add another entry. We did this last time for the opposite traffic light, because you want to have this one and this one to turn red if these two are green. So okay, we do the same here with these traffic light buttons. I add another entry, we select this one. Now I select these ones here. Bam and bam, perfectly. And now we add this wonderful traffic light and this one here. Okay, I'm happy with this. Now we do the same with these buttons. So just select your wonderful traffic lights. And now I add 2 new entries with this one and this traffic light here. Now everything should work. Let's check it out. Simulate. You see here, it's red. We click on the button here. It turns now in 10 seconds, not directly, but in 10 seconds, yeah, like this, to yeah, everything is working now. Perfect. So how can I access this wonderful node, init button pressed by my character? This is very easy. I don't show you right now how to set up a line trace and so on, because I think you know it by yourself how you can do this. But if you open up the wonderful blueprint of the pedestrian button, we can see here the logic, and this one here is just the logic you have to call if you want to press the button. Init button press. That's it. If you press the button, a timer gets handled, the anti-spam timer, and then we engage the pedestrian light logic. So you have just to set up this wonderful event here in your custom character. I don't recommend you to cast this one. So maybe you want to go with I have a collision box, and now I say I can show it to you. Some people say begin overlap, for example, and now we say, hey, okay, I just need the actor of the type button pressed. Some people do it like this, and you can do it like this, but I don't recommend you to cast to BP traffic light pedestrian button, because this is just, let's say, very unperformant. And you can do something like this, and if it's not the pedestrian button, you can go to the next one. I recommend you to just create a simple intersection interface, so a blueprint interface, by do a right click in your content folder. We go to blueprint, and here you can set up a blueprint interface. And if you have created the blueprint interface, just add it here in the pedestrian button by clicking on class settings. Okay, now it's not responding. So if you have your character, just add a line trace logic to your character, and please add also to your character a blueprint interface BPI, and also to your button, I call it now B, also the BPI. And if you have a line trace, get your overlapping objects, and yeah, just call then the blueprint interface that you want to use as a button logic. And this is far more cheaper for your performance. Now it's working again, as when you use castings. So click to class settings and go to interfaces and say here implemented interfaces add here your wonderful interface. Thanks for watching this tutorial. I hope you learned something today, and I hope you can improve your scene by using smart traffic light. If you have questions, don't hesitate to ask. I recommend you Discord, but you can also ask, of course, in the YouTube comments. Have a good day.